Hello, good morning, students. How are you all? Hope all of you are safe and staying at home only, getting ready with your syllabus, getting ready for the board examination. We know we are running short of time, and we are in such a critical situation that we are unable to give you the right preparation for your board. But at the same time, children, heart take things seriously and get through the classes provided by your teachers. And today I am before you with a very apt chapter which gives you a lots of energy and psychological stability, which is very significant in one's long run of life. Okay, and so this lesson is very very apt for you young children who are looking for a bright future, how you need to be in your attitude and in your lifestyle. Okay, through this writer Jesse Owens. This is actually like an autobiography. um, we can't say exactly that my greatest Olympic prize is an exact autobiography in the real sense, but has autobiographical elements which Jesse Owens uses to suggest how his relationship with Les Long is his greatest prize from the Olympic Games of 1936, which was held in Berlin, Germany. And then here, as we know, the Olympic game, you must have heard about the Olympic Games of 1936, which was held in Berlin, where Adolf Hitler thought that it was the perfect occasion for him to prove to the world that the Aryan race is the best or of the superior quality by winning more golden medals. And Hitler has also prepared his athletes, his young athletes, in such a manner and also kept them under wraps. He kept them hidden so as to scandalize the world by presenting their unusual performance during the Olympic Games. So this was a kind of trick played by Hitler to show that his race, the Aryan race, is superior to the other race. And so he trained his young athletes and he hid their talents before the world, but only to show them during the Olympic Games. But then we come to know Jesse Owens is also a good player from America. He was preparing himself for 6 years with much dedication and hard work to win the gold medals. And we come to know here in this lesson, a year before, on May 25th, 1935, he has broken many world records in Big 10 track and field championship in Michigan. So he had high hopes from himself. But when Jesse Owens went to the trials of the long jump event of the Olympic Games, he come in contact with Les Long, the tall German athlete. And then there Jesse loses his hope. And Les Long's presence made Jesse not very confident, and he fouled in the first two attempts of the trial. But we will come to know how Les Long comes to Jesse Owens and advises him that he would attempt to take a jump few feet before the takeoff point. So he guided him that he should take the jump few feet before the takeoff point. And this advice worked, and he qualified not only for the finals but also went on to win the gold medal. And then we come to know how he expresses his gratitude towards Les Long and what kind of attitude or behavioral quality we find in Les Long. He was not for just winning, but he was a true athlete. Okay, so we come to know the comradeship that has to be kept, the sportsmanship, the comradeship that has to be displayed by every youngster, not only in games but in a life, how we need to be. So this is all about the psychological stability. That is the most significant thing if one wants to make big in this world. So, what makes you confident is that your own inner stability, your mental strength, or the psychological stability that makes you win. So, this is a kind of guidelines for you, young children, that how you should maintain your mental stability, and it is not in winning but in participating, not in winning but in participating with the dedication and hard work that you win. It is not the gold medal that he is recording himself as the highest prize, but the friendship that he had with Laszlo. So that makes you an understanding. It is not in the awards, but in your life, in your good mannerism and behavior and attitude that you are named as someone so very great. So, children, I would suggest you go through this lesson and carefully read it. Each line is so very important. Hope you have the text before you, children. Take page number 104. Have you got it with? About the author, you would read yourself, okay? And then go through the text. I right away go with the text, children. You will have to read yourself about the author. Make a study about the author from page number 103. It was the summer of 1936. So the year 1936 is a remarkable year because of the Olympic game. The Olympic Games were being held in Berlin. So where it was held in that year? It was held in Berlin, Germany. Because Hitler childishly insisted that his performers were members of a master race, nationalistic feelings were at an all-time high. So Hitler, the fascist, had, without prudence, had made a declaration that his race, the Aryan race, was of superior quality, and he wanted to show that his race is the master race. There was a kind of nationalist feelings in the Olympic game. Usually it was not supposed to be there, but because of Hitler's these kind of proclamations, widespread rumors, it had evoked a kind of nationalistic feelings in the Olympic game. I wasn't too worried about all this. Who is this I? I is the author himself, Jesse Evans. I said already it is in the autobiographical form. And who is the narrator? The author himself. And who is speaking about whom? Jesse Evans is speaking about his own story. So I wasn't worried means Jesse wasn't worried about all this. I had trained, sweated, and disciplined myself for 6 years. Why he was not worried? He was so confident because he had trained himself for 6 years. He had sweated, he had worked hard, and disciplined himself for 6 years with the games in mind. So keeping in his mind the Olympic Games much ahead, he had trained for 6 years. He had disciplined himself. He had kept him fit enough, disciplined, and he had worked hard with the dedication. And so he was not afraid. He was not worried about the nationalistic feeling, and the Hitler's rumors did not affect him much. While I was going over on the boat, all I could think about was taking home one or two of those gold medals. So while he was journeying towards Berlin from his homeland, he had only in his mind about carrying back home few gold medals. I had my eye especially on the running broad jump. So what was he trying to partake? He was trying to participate in the broad jump, and his mind was ready, and he knew that he is going to win and he will take back home one or two gold medals. I had my eye especially on the running broad jump. A year before, as a sophomore at Ohio State University. Sophomore is he was the student in the second year of high school. In which university? Ohio State University. So he was all when he was a student of second year in Ohio State University. I'd set the world's record. He had already had a world record of 26 feet 8 1 by 4 inches. So he had the record of gold medals of so many, like 100 and 200-meter races, and the broad jump and 400-meter relay. He had already won the medals. Everyone kind of expected me to win that Olympic event hands down. So all thought that he could without much efforts win the Olympic game. All had, because he had the record of getting these gold medals when he was a student at Ohio State University. And so everyone else believed that without any much effort, Jesse could win the Olympic game. And so here we come to know Jesse had his own self-confidence, and others also had much confidence in Jesse that boosted his confidence. I was in for a surprise. When the time came for the broad jump trials, I was startled to see a tall boy hitting the pit at almost 26 feet on his practice leaps. Now, what is that? He was all full of confidence, and now what happens? All his hopes get shattered, seeing whom? I was in for a surprise. Why he was surprised? Because we come to know later that Hitler had trained his young athletes hidden. They were under wraps, that nobody knew that there were some kind of young athletes for Germany. And it was only during the Olympic game they appeared. And so Jesse thought this new avatars. Okay, for example, he never had a kind of rival in front of him. But now he see a rival just in front of him, a tall young man. Who is that? Les Long. I was startled. He was so surprised to see a tall boy hitting the pit at almost 26 feet on his practice leaps. Even in his practice leap, he was almost jumping with how much feet? 26 feet. He turned out to be a German named Les Long. I was told that Hitler had kept him under wraps. So here we come to know why Jesse was surprised, because they never knew about these young athletes being trained by Hitler under wraps. Under wraps means not shown to anyone, to the world. They were kept in secret and evidently hoping to win the jump with him. And now he knew that he has to jump and win because he has a rival in Les Long. I guessed that if Long won, it would add some new support to the Nazis' Aryan superiority theory. Now he began to think. Earlier it was not a trouble for him to think that the master race is going to win, because he never saw any such kind young athletes who are so fit for such a kind of Olympic game. Now he knew there is Les Long who is a rival to him, and he started losing his confidence. He guessed that Long would win the game. It would, if at all Les Long wins, what will happen? It would add some new support to the Nazis' Aryan superiority theory. What is this Nazis' Aryan superiority theory? That Hitler made a rumor that this Aryan race is the master race. They are of the superior quality compared to the other race. So he knew if Les Long winning the gold medals for this Olympic game, it will be an approval for Hitler's rumor that Aryan race is the superior race. After all, I am a Negro. Now, who is Jesse Owens? Jesse Owens is a American Negro, a little hot under the collar about Hitler's ways. I determined to go out there and really show Der Führer and his master race who was superior and who wasn't. Now, a little hot under the collar about Hitler's ways means he was so upset or angry towards the Hitler's this way of performance, Hitler's ways. I determined to go out there. He wanted to show out there and really show Der Führer. Der Führer is a title used for Hitler and his master race, who was superior and who wasn't. Now he wanted to show to Hitler and his race that who is superior and who is not superior. An angry athlete is an athlete who will make mistake. As any coach will tell you, I was no exemption. On the first of my 3 qualifying jumps, I leaped from several inches beyond the takeoff board for a foul. On the second jump, I fouled even worse. Did I come 3,000 miles for this? I thought bitterly to foul out of the trials and make a fool of myself. He knew from his coach that an angry athlete always make a mistake. So athletes need to have a what we'll say tranquil mind, a calm mind when he is at his play. And so he knew that he is angry, that he is going to make mistake, and he was no exemption. On the first of his 3 qualifying jumps also he fouled. I leapt from several inches beyond the takeoff board for a foul. And even in the second he fouled. Did I come 3,000 miles for this? I thought bitterly. Now he became so bitter that and he says, did I come to play this foul and then go back without winning? I have come 3,000 miles all the way, and then now I don't want to go without winning and without the golden medals. To fall out of these trials and make a fool of myself. Have I come to make myself a fool? And how I come to make this kind of foul even in my trials. Walking a few yards from the pit, I picked disgustedly at the dirt. Suddenly I felt a hand on my shoulder. I turned to look into the friendly blue eyes of the tall German broad jumper. He had easily qualified for the finals. On his first attempt, he offered me a warm handshake. Now what happened? He was so angry with his own poor performance at the trials, and that made him so bitter. And he was so troubled with the thought of Laslong's winning the gold, so he fouled twice. What mattered him to foul twice is that he was already a kind of brooding over the winning of Laslong that would approve the rumors spread by Hitler's superiority theory. So all these things had anchored him, and an angry athlete would always make mistake. And it was at this time he kicked on the dust disgustedly. The speaker walked a few yards from the pit and kicked disgustedly at the dirt. And there comes Laslong with his friendliness, his support and anti-racial attitude, which calmed him down. Now we see him offering a handshake. Who handshook with Jesse? The German athlete Laslong with the blue eyes. He had a friendly blue eyes. He was a tall man with the friendly blue eyes who shook hands with him that calmed down the anger of Jesse Owens. Jesse Owens, I am Laslong. I don't think we have met. He spoke English well, though with a German twist to it. Although he had a German accent, he spoke very good English, and he introduced himself to Jesse Owens, telling that he is Laslong. Glad to meet you, I said. Then, trying to hide my nervousness, I added, how are you? So he Jesse didn't want to show his angry or disgustfulness towards Laslong. So he asked him courteously, how are you? I am fine. The question is, how are you? What do you mean? I asked. Something must be eating you, he said. Proud the way foreigners are when they are mastered a bit of American slang. You should be able to qualify with your eyes closed. Now see the beautiful way of approach by Les Long. He says, I am fine, but I am only worried whether you are fine. I think something is bothering you. Something must be eating you up means something is bothering you. Proud the way foreigners are when they have mastered a bit of American slang. So he was in a way so happy that he could pick up the American slang in his talking. So you should be able to qualify with your eyes closed. And then he gave an advice to Jesse Evans telling, when you are at the playground, you should play, you should qualify yourself with closed eyes. Nothing should be bothering you but only the play. When you are in the field, your focus is only on the play. You should play, eyes closed, nothing should be bothering you. Believe me, I know it, I told him. And it felt good to say that to someone. So he wanted to express himself as a confident man and he's told to Laslong that believe me, I know it. For the next few minutes, we walked together. Actually, what happens here? The man is already disappointed. He is in anger. He is not in his good moods. And there comes a friendliness from the rival, the German competitor. And then, a kind of a beautiful conversation, a dialogue happens between them that reduces the tension of Jesse Evans. The coming next few lines are so very important, students. So listen. For the next few minutes, we walked together. I didn't tell Long what was eating me. So he never shared to Les Long what was bothering him. What was bothering him? Hitler's superiority theory. If at all he fails, he knew. And if Les Long wins, it is going to prove what Hitler was feeding the mind of the people is going to be true. So that was disturbing him, that was bothering him. So he did not tell Les Long that what was bothering him. But he seemed to understand my anger and he took pains to reassure me. So Les Long in a way put up with him, expressing his concern that showed that he seemed to understand Jesse's anger. Although he had been schooled in the Nazi youth movement, he didn't believe in the Aryan supremacy business any more than I did. So none of them, neither Les Long nor Jesse, believed in this Nazi Aryan supremacy theory. We laughed over the fact that he really looked the part, though. We laughed over the fact that he really looked a part, though. An inch taller than I, he had a lean, muscular frame, clear blue eyes, blonde hair, and a strikingly handsome, chiseled face. So this is the description given about Les Long. What is the attributes? He was taller than Jesse, an inch taller than him. He had a lean, muscular frame. He is very thin and lean, but with a well-built, muscular frame, clear blue eyes, blonde hair, and a strikingly handsome, chiseled face. Finally, seeing that I had calmed down somewhat, he pointed to the takeoff board. Now, by this dialogue, he understood. Les Long understood that Jesse has come down. He is in a position to take another trial. Les Long pointed him to the takeoff board. Look, he said, why don't you draw a line a few inches in back of the board and aim at making your takeoff from there? Now, what did this boy do? He started to advise him, telling, draw a line a few inches in back of the board and aim at making his takeoff from there. And it proved successful to him, isn't it? You will be sure not to fall, and you certainly ought to jump far enough to qualify. What does it matter if you are not first in the trials? Tomorrow is what counts. So beautiful advice by a competitor, a rival himself. He says, draw a line far away. Okay, draw a line a few inches in back of the board and then try to fix your target, then take off. And he also says that do not be worried about your trials. What counts is tomorrow. These trials are nothing but it is only a rehearsal, but what counts is that of tomorrow. Children, I think we'll stop here. We have one more page to complete. We'll do it tomorrow. So for today, all the best. Read it once, twice until you understand it. Then try to go through the reference to context and try to answer the first the 3 paragraphs. Okay, 3 part of your workbook explanation. Go through it, workbook references, and then do it. Okay, all the best. God bless you.